Legislation introduced in the Illinois General Assembly would allow Bible colleges in the state to hand out degrees.
We have a number of Bible colleges in the state of Illinois right now that are operated by churches. Under state law, the way it's drafted currently, they're not allowed to give out degrees. They can only give out diplomas or certificates showing that students have completed the classes.
The Reverend Vanden Bosh, the executive director of Concerned Christian Americans, tells IllinoisFamily.org News that under the measure, church-operated colleges with a religious exemption would be permitted to offer specific religious degrees, but they need not meet all state academic standards.
We are looking to mirror some of the other states. So we have 26 other states that have religious exemptions for the higher education that will allow Bible colleges that are operated by churches to offer religious degrees, and that's what we'd like to be able to do.
What's the advantage of that?
Well, the advantage of it really is just the fact that there's recognition that there's work that's being done rather than a certificate of completion. I just recently talked to a student who went somewhere and they were only able to get a certificate of completion. There are other places where students are only able to get some kind of a diploma stating that they have completed it. But this will be actually listed as a religious degree, so they can get a religious associate's degree, a religious bachelor's degree, and so it'll actually make it much better and recognize the work that has been accomplished by these students.
For these students, will that help them when they go out searching for a job?
It likely will, although most of the training that goes on in these Bible colleges is training for people to be able to minister in local churches.
The Reverend Vanden Bosh says the bill that would help Bible colleges could face opposition or changes.
You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Board of Higher Education in the state of Illinois yet, but I'm willing to work with them and be able to look at different options. As I mentioned, there are 26 different states that have exemptions already. The state of Illinois does not have an exemption. It has a vocational school exemption, and so it just allows those students to be recognized as vocational school students essentially, and we'd like to have them recognized as something other than that.
Is it because of the politics in Illinois that this hasn't happened? Illinois hasn't joined those 26 other states?
There have been so many different other issues that have been going on in Illinois, and Illinois is not a state that leans to the right. It's a state that leans to the left. And so in some respects, a lot of times legislation like that can be more difficult to pass.
What are you predicting about the prospects for this? You think it has a good chance?
I think it has a good chance, and I think that legislators will be willing to work with it. I've worked with legislators for 21 years now, and so they've learned to trust what I have to say to them, and there are a number of different people across the aisle that I'll be able to work with as well on this, so I think that we'll be able to get good bipartisan support for it.
Illinois Senate Bill 2846 was introduced by Democratic State Senator Bill Hayne, and it could be voted on soon.
Well, we're certainly going to work on it. I don't guarantee passage because the last legislation that I worked on took 5 years to pass.
The Reverend Vanden Bosh says the bill is modeled after a law in California that allows church-operated Bible colleges to give out religious degrees. For IllinoisFamily.org News, I'm Monty Larrick.
This has been brought to you by the Illinois Family Institute, promoting marriage, family, life, and liberty in the land of Lincoln. For more information, go to IllinoisFamily.org.